boys and girls, man and woman. I think it's time to look at this game with new eyes. As a player who loves this game so much, I can't shy away from what's the truth and what I do dream will happen. And it's all fun discussing how bad netties do stuff, but it's time to remove the blindfold and honestly understand what bigger issue we have. That is, with every patch, growing and growing. The solution is in this video. Wow, Chief, your Plex issue video was great. Now I understand the issue and why. Thank you, but that's a small issue. And this got me thinking of the bigger issue, the one that I've alluded to in countless of my other videos. It is not industry, it's not insurance, it's not the capitals. Well, the capitals is a byproduct, I guess. No, it's the players. Not whales with their money, but the average players. This will take some time to explain, but I will try. Netties will maximize their profit with any game that they produce. So how do they do that? Well, in the mobile world, unfortunately, they look towards two things. They look towards whales, what they want and what they put their money on. And the second thing is the mainstream. They do not care about you or me. What we want is not even remotely interesting. But sure, if we come up with a foolproof solution that can guarantee profit, then sure. And this is kind of why CSM is a great thing, but us 10,000 players, we don't have much to say. There's a reason why we have most of our gameplay outside the game, why we have it in events, in other PvP areas. It is because netties are preparing for the mainstream. It's just to face it, we are the beginning, we are the test subjects. We are the one that, if we stay, we will be rewarded when the bigger crowd rolls in. It makes sense, don't you think? Why don't netties have any commercials for the game yet? I mean, they got the money to do so why won't they? I tell you what I've seen with 3 years within the game, that this game is not ready yet, and they know it. So I don't think that netties are going to turn back on this game. They're not going to close it down as some people think. They're going to build their own version of EVE in the spirit of EVE Online. This game will have smaller ship content when time comes, but they need to push the end ship out first and make it work. We are basically just here testing everything and preparing to eventually be looked upon as veterans of this game. When we get small frigate and destroyers updates, we should be happy. As players who don't spend, we don't show attachment. And I will talk more about attachment here soon. But netties don't care about our opinion, because we who play this game now is probably less than 10% of the numbers of the players that they want. And this is also why we have the gameplay outside the game, in events and in PvP areas. This is because when we have all the numbers that they do want in the game, we cannot fit in the game. They need to spread us out in other areas. And when those people come to this game, they will make the money pour in. And they are right now, as I say, testing everything. The boxes, the AUR ships, everything is a means to see what works. And I'm sorry to say that most of the free-to-play players have left. Most of the players who wishes for a fair game have also left. Most players who really want to form this game into what would have been a great game, they have left. You know, people type in the comments like, I will not stand for this, and just leave the game, abandoning the game that they wanted to work so badly. And this is what I'm talking about when I say never give up. Never give up for what you want, fight for your game. So what is the state of EVE Echoes now when all of those people have left? And I'm pretty sure that some of you guys who left are here watching this video about it, leaving some comments about how right you were, how the game is getting worse and worse, update after update. Yeah, sure, it gets worse. Well, how about that? When all who's fighting for this game is us who never gives up and whales. Who do you think got authority now? Well, I can tell you it's not us fighters, and as bad as it sounds, it's not over. Sure, this will make everything take a lot longer to correct. Because every time NetEase releases AUR ships, or boxes, or lottery wheels, then all the players who are left, they have the money they will spend. And all who still fight for what we want in the game, and for what players who have left wants, we just hang tight. We together make the best of what we got, while we still clinging on to hope. Now NetEase don't care if they make us angry, or if they do break some stuff in the game, and the proof is here. They even told us, we changed the game for what you guys like to do, not for what's best for the game. And this tells us something. They are going to keep aggressively experimenting with the game until they see progress, which of course now they already do. When the player base is run by whales because all the other people left, what do you think will happen when players like us is the minority? Now, what we really should be afraid of is if NetEase run out of ideas, because then they will most likely close the game. And it's not like I don't get it, guys and girls. I don't want you to feel bad for leaving the game, because all we do is what we feel is the best for ourselves. But as I was brought up when I was young, was that you never get anything by screaming, crying, or being an ass about it. You not get anything by begging or blaming others. The only way you get what you want to is if you work hard for it and don't give up half the way, and don't you fucking forget, don't ever expect others to do anything for you. And if you feel like me, then stay in the game. Do not pay for stuff in the game. We need to be the majority of this player base to make a change. Because if the majority don't pay, then the whale income will not be high enough in the statistics. And then they will change the stuff so that more start spending. So with this harsh reality out of the way, what do NetEase prioritize, really? Well, the first thing that they will prioritize is of course ships. And we've seen that, but also to get players emotionally attached to their ships. And we see that as well with a high price tag, and we see that with implants, and of course with the capitals. You don't want to spend those amount of money without caring for something, because this is their way to see if they have players that potentially want to stay. So today, each big change unfortunately makes a ton of stuff in the game obsolete, because they don't have the time to make sure that the smaller ships work well with updates. And on top of that, NetEase is not good at communicating. And maybe it is, as I've mentioned before in other discussion videos, that they don't care. And I don't mean it like in a mean way, they don't care, but it's more like, you know, the new guy at the office tells you how to run stuff that you don't care. Mobile games is mostly AFK today, and of course we got the ratting AI. People wanna farm AFK, and hell, I even like it when I'm too busy. People say they nerfed the industry. Well, I'd say again that they just don't care. It's not like they sat down and said, man, let's shut down this industry. I mean, this is just a byproduct of the simple stuff that they get money for adding. NetEase is a business and must make money. They are compelled to maximize their profits, and as a mobile business, they have huge success. They know how to make money. I think they have over $100 billion in mobile games. They ain't stupid, but it is true that they don't understand what they could have. They don't see this game as the future game type that could cater to so many players. They don't take chances, they know what works. So in a simple way of saying, they'd rather take 1 billion guaranteed money over a year than potentially 10 billion over the second year, if it's a risk of losing it. So just face it, this game is not going to be as brutal or as punishing as EVE Online. The ships is practically unlosable, and it might stay like that, because they do make more money if people stay than if some lose their ships and put money in to buy it back. And we all see that SOV with its tether mechanics is going to be more like capture the flag. But I will say it one more time. To make a difference, we need players active who don't fall for their ideas. We don't need less players active, because that only ends up with us in the minority. Fight for your game, guys. And I see you guys again.